Hello everybody. This is like the 5th time I've tried to make this video. I wanted to make kind of a review video of my new drone, the Autel Evo, and I've been out here like 5 times, and every time I get ready to make this video something happens, which I'll post a picture. It's always wind related. The wind kicks up and can't get the video made, but it's again really super windy today, which I'm out here testing some different stuff wind related, so I'm taking advantage of that. But I do want to get this review up. There's been several reviews of the Autel Evo that's already out. I mean, because it's been out like over a year now. But I thought maybe someone might want to hear my opinion on it. I'm going to be, painfully honest about it. And maybe by the end of this, I'll have told you something more than what you might have heard from somebody that was given the drone for free to review, or hopes to get future drones for free, whatever the case may be. I bought this with my own money, so I'm obligated to nobody. And I made some notes this time because there's a lot to unpack here. And by the end of this video, I know some people are going to claim that I gave it a bad review. That's not my case at all. I mean, that's not my intention. That's not what I'm setting out to do. I just want to give you all of the little quirks about the drone that may be a deal breaker for some of you. Some of these quirks I worked through. I'll tell you how I worked through them. Some of them, at least for me personally, I'm having a real hard time getting past. So I'll tell you what those are, and maybe they mean nothing to you for where you live and how you fly and stuff. Maybe these little quirks don't mean anything, but I'm going to start off with what I feel are the strong positives of this drone. Then we'll move on to the negatives, and the biggest negative for me personally that I found with it. So the first one is the camera. I think the camera is pretty exceptional, and just as the camera on the first Autel product, the Autel X-Star Premium, which I've had for 3 years, I believe. I've been flying this for 3 years. Close to it anyway. I'm not sure exactly, but I do believe it's 3 years, and I do have a lot of flight time on this. And I'll kind of show you some differences between this. I know some people have asked that question. I've seen in forums and stuff. How does this, if you have one of these, do you really need the Evo, and yada yada. And I'll tell you what the Evo does way better than this, and what it doesn't do better than this. 4K 60 frames a second. A lot of people, when they film in 4K, they like a more cinematic, a more cinema-like video, to where you get kind of a slight blur as you pan, and how you fly and you move and stuff, and you get more of a cinematic type experience with it. For me, I'm not going for that. That's not desirable for me personally. I personally prefer more crisp, no blur, more action type filming, because a lot of times I'm moving pretty quickly, or I'm filming something that's moving. So that's just how I feel. I don't really care for the cinematic look. I'm going for something else. So for me, the camera is really what excels on this drone for the money. The camera is great. The colors, I've heard pros and cons on some of the features that the camera has. Some of the profiles and stuff like that. I've heard that the log is really good, but I don't use that. So I can't really comment on that or not. I have used the vivid profile on the camera, and I think it blows personally. I think it like high level of suck when compared to the vivid setting on the X-Star. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't care for it. It just looks you know, unnatural. That's not the look I'm going for, so I don't like it. So basically the camera is a real strong argument for the drone. I mean, it's a really good camera, especially moving on to my next point, which would be the price at $1,000, and they have deals all the time. I got the Go Pack for free when I bought mine, so I ended up with 3 batteries, a bag, yada 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 yada. You know, it's a really good deal. I mean, it was a really good deal. It was $1,000, and I got 3 batteries and an extra set of props. They're always giving good deals on it. So, you know, another really strong argument for this drone would be the price. Another really strong positive for this drone, going for it, is no flight restrictions. You don't have to worry about can you fly or can't you fly, or do you have to put in an unlock code like you do with DJI. I know me personally, if I got out to fly somewhere and I went to go fly and there was a firmware update, a fly zone update, and all of this crap to go through before I could get my drone up in the air, I know me, and that would just super piss me off. One of the biggest reasons I went with Autel again was because they don't have that. There's very few firmware updates for the drone. They don't come along very often, and that's a positive and a negative. I mean, that's both a positive and a negative, because you know, you don't get a lot of firmware updates, so you're not bothered with it. But if there's something that is bothering you about the firmware, something that needs to be fixed that is not fixed, it's not going to be fixed for a little while. That's just straight up honest. That's, I mean, they don't move quickly over at Autel. That is not something that they do. The next really huge positive for me, in my personal opinion, is the controller has a built-in screen. Now, that's nothing that you haven't heard before. Everybody's talked about that. But it's got a built-in screen, so if you want to get up and fly in a hurry, this is the drone for you, because you can, you know, turn it on, turn the controller on, and you can fly it with the screen on this. Of course, you're going to be missing some of the features of having your phone in it. Like, you can't go into advanced flight modes and things of that nature. But you can fly it. You can get what you're wanting to film done very quickly because it's got a built-in screen. And then when you're flying, when you do have your phone attached, there's a wealth of information down here that's there all the time. So it's like having 2 screens, and I really, really like that. Okay, that's a big positive for me. The next big positive of going with the Evo is the customer service that Autel provides. Their customer service, I believe, is better than, at least from my research and from my experiences, they're the best at customer service. You call them up and you get an English-speaking person on the other line. Although I will have to say this, a caveat to that is that their customer service now is not as good as it was. They are, as they go along, they are slightly, I mean, they started up here where they were just the bomb, and I believe that they've kind of started on a downward slope based on what I'm reading in forums. The other really positive thing over other drones that you might be considering, the range of this drone. They have a proprietary transmission system or communication system like DJI. It doesn't have the range of a Mavic 2, but it does have a really good range. As a matter of fact, I think you can fly this farther than the battery will return it. So I mean, if you're into that thing and you're looking to fly, you know, up to 3 miles away, it will do it. There's plenty of videos on YouTube with guys showing with just the stock antennas that you can get 3 miles all day long. So there's that. If you're into that, you know, that kind of thing. I've had it for a couple of months. I've flown it a lot, and my experience with it has been mostly positive. Now let's move on to the negatives. Now it's going to sound like there's more negatives than there were positives, and there are.